Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be rewatching and reacting and breaking down 12 Monkeys. I have seen this movie, okay? But it was back in 1995, like when it came out on video, and I saw it the one time and I have not seen it since. I did not recall what happened in the movie at all. The only thing I remembered was that Bruce Willis was in it and Brad Pitt was in it. And I remember Brad Pitt being completely unhinged. He does Unhinged very well. I also recalled not really liking the movie, but in retrospect, I think I just didn't understand the movie. Now, 12 Monkeys is filmed in sort of a back and forth kind of way. It goes in between the years 2035 and 1996. So because of all the jumping around, I'm going to kind of break it down into parts. I'm not going to really go in order, I guess, of the movie. I'm just going to break it down into sections. So section 1 will be a baseline of events starting in the 2035 timeline, the basic events that happen in the 1996 timeline, the main character's name in this movie, Bruce Willis's character's name is Cole, so there's going to be a section for young Cole, a section for the outbreak that is the kind of the center point, I guess, of this movie. How people are surviving will be another portion. Then we're going to talk about older Cole, so like 2035 Cole. And we're going to talk about a character named Jeffrey and Cole being sent back into the year 1990. So those two will be sort of together, I think, is kind of how we're going to break it down. There's also going to be a section of being sent back to 1996 because originally he's supposed to be sent to 1996, but he gets sent to 1990 by mistake. So we'll have to do a part for 1996. Yeah, we're just gonna, there's gonna be several parts. Like, I'm not gonna waste time naming them all off, but I've got several down here. So it's all just gonna be sort of broken down into parts. I think that'd be the easier, because otherwise there's just so much time jumping that I think to try and do it in order of everything happening would just take forever. So starting with the basic events in the year 2030 timeline, okay? The human race is living underground because of a virus that is still rampant up on the surface. Scientists are still trying to find a cure for this virus. They need more information. They need to get it before the virus mutates. The world believes that an organization known as the Army of the 12 Monkeys was responsible for the virus outbreak. And they learned this from a sort of garbled up voice transmission that they found that was talking about the Army of the 12 Monkeys. Cole, which is Bruce Willis's character, is a prisoner who the scientists want to train and send back in time to get more information on the virus. Using that information, They hope to create the cure. The scientists are not trying to change the past by sending Cole. They know that changing the past is not possible because it's already happened. And it will always continue to be what happened. Like what happened, happened, and they know they can't change it. All they want is to gather information from the past to help fix the present. There's no vested interest in changing anything. So then the basic set of events in the 1996 timeline is that Jeffrey, Brad Pitt's character, is the founder of the Army of the 12 Monkeys. The Army of the 12 Monkeys is not responsible for the virus epidemic. They only want to free animals from a zoo. Okay. There's a character called Dr. Peters, who is an assistant of Jeffrey's dad, who owns a laboratory that houses and works with different viruses and stuff. He is the one who is responsible for the virus epidemic. Okay. I know I'm spoiling everything really, really quick, but this movie is really fucking old, and this is the only way I can think to break this down, okay? The question as to why Dr. Peters wants to set forth a virus around the world to take out the human population is quite simple. He just wants to destroy the world. He is of the Joker's philosophy that some men just want to watch the world burn. We're going to go through the life events of Cole, okay, Bruce Willis's character. Cole, as we first meet him in 1996, is a small boy. Okay, we meet him as a child. And he is in the same airport where Dr. Peters is leaving with the strain of this virus, okay? The virus is never given a name. We're never told what it does. We just know that it takes out the vast majority of the population. I think at one point it said there was like 1% of the human population left. Young Cole sees a dude running with a gun in the airport, and the authorities shoot the guy. And a blonde woman sits crying over the dead guy. Cole continues to see this imagery for years. It's like a recurring dream that he keeps having. He doesn't know who the guy or the blonde are, but it's a very traumatic thing that he remembers as a kid. And like I said, just keeps having this dream. So then, as far as the virus outbreak, Dr. Peters gets cleared at the airport security. The virus is in these little like ginormous vial things, but then inside the vial is like a smaller kind of vial, and then the virus is inside the smaller vial. But it's like, you can't see it with the naked eye. You can't smell it. Like there's, it's like, just trust me, it's there. You can't see it, but it's there. After he's cleared, he travels to a couple of the major capital cities all around the world and releases the virus, right? So he goes to like Philadelphia, San Francisco, New Orleans, Rio, Rome, Kinshasa, I think I'm pronouncing that wrong. There's another one I can't pronounce, Bangkok, and Peking. Listen, geography, not my thing. The virus starts to infect, spread, and kill people worldwide. basically, Dr. Peters has incited the end of days, right? Doomsday. So then years pass, okay, and the surviving humans live underground. Over the passing years, the virus has mutated, and the scientists are unable to find the original strain and come up with a cure. Finally, a time machine is invented. The scientists theorize that, they can't change or alter the past. So that's not their goal. But they use the time machine in hopes of stopping the virus from being created. However, they want to get more details on the original strain from 1969 and 1996, my dyslexia, and use that information to make the cure. In 2035, okay, Cole is a prisoner. We don't know why he's in jail. We don't know what he's in prison for. That is never explained. But they give him an opportunity to go back in time to help them get details on where the original strain of the virus emerged. After that, they plan on sending a scientist to the very location in time to study the strain more. The scientists are monitoring one particular voicemail number in 1996 to get information that anyone leaves on it, okay? This is supposed to be the mode of communication for Cole and the scientists of 2035, okay? They attempt to send Cole to 1996, but due to a glitch, Cole ends up in 1990 in Baltimore. Cole gets found, and he starts, trying to explain the situation to people. He's from 2035. He's here to get information on a virus, yada, 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 okay? Tries to explain this to everybody. And this puts Cole into a mental asylum under the care of Catherine Riley, okay? Cole tries to make the phone call to the voicemail number that he was given, but it's 6 years too soon, and the number belongs to a different person. Cole is unable to prove to his captors, right, to his doctors, that he is from the future. In the asylum, Cole meets Jeffrey Joins. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He meets Jeffrey, okay? Brad Pitt's character. Jeffrey has some very radical ideas about the world, and he wants to inspire a change, okay? Cole tries to escape, but gets caught and thrown into solitary. More accurately, he does try to escape, but with great help from Jeffrey. Jeffrey gets him the key. He causes a whole distraction scene. Listen, I am not, by any stretch of the imagination, a big fan of Brad Pitt, okay? I do not generally like his movies. There are a handful where he's just, right? California is one. This is another. That funny one on a train, I don't remember what that was called. That was hilarious. When he does things like that, oh, he's just amazing. And in this, when he plays batshit crazy, holy crap, he's just phenomenal. Yeah, he just causes a great big scene so that Cole can break out, right? Cole is pulled back into 2035. So he was in solitaire in 1990, and 2035 was like, yoink, Leaving the folks of 1990 confused about Cole's disappearance. They have no idea how the fuck he broke out of solitaire. Cole begins to hallucinate a voice that calls him Bob. This voice appears many times throughout the movie, okay? And it is strictly in Cole's head. It took me a while to kind of figure that out. It's weird. But it is entirely in his head. The scientists ask Cole for the meaning of a message that they intercepted from 1996. The message is a woman saying, "The Freedom for Animals Association on 2nd Avenue is the secret headquarters of the Army of the 12 Monkeys. They are the ones who are going to do it. I can't do anymore. I have to go now. Have a Merry Christmas." Cole obviously has no idea what the message is and explains to the scientists that he was sent to the wrong time. He was sent to 1990 rather than 1996. They show Cole some photographs of possible suspects from their other research. They've sent more than just Cole. They've sent other prisoners to gather information. One of the photos is of Jeffrey, which Cole identifies. They send Cole back, and this time to 1996. They send him to the proper year. But again, a glitch sends Cole back to the middle of World War I. Yeah. His leg gets shot at the war, and a fellow traveler, Jose, is also transported to the same time by mistake. But the glitch gets corrected, and Cole is transported instantaneously to 1996. And we don't know at this point what happened to Jose. When we left him, he was on a stretcher, he was bloody, and he was being carried away. In 1996, Cole finds Catherine and kidnaps her. She recollects him from the asylum, and he gets her to drive them to Pennsylvania, saying that this is where the attack is going to happen. They head to the Animals Association and ask for the Army of the 12 Monkeys. Over there, they learn that Jeffrey is the head of this underground army. And Cole and Catherine leave, and she helps to get the bullet out of Cole's leg. He just sort of casually mentions that, he got shot or whatever. And she's like, okay, well, listen, they're driving, and she just literally hits the brakes. And it's like, okay, before we do anything else, we're getting this bullet out of your leg. Okay, before you die, sepsis or something, we're removing this bullet. Cole eventually meets Jeffrey and tells him that he is not here to change anything and that he just wants some information. He asks him for the location of the pure virus. Jeffrey tells him that he knows of this virus idea because Cole told this to him in the asylum, which he did. It looks like Cole coming back in time to 1990 caused Jeffrey to be put in the asylum. In his heavily drugged state, Cole mumbled about the virus and the death of 99% of the world to Jeffrey. And it's possible that Jeffrey later talked about it in front of Dr. Peters. Dr. Peters may have gotten the idea from hearing Jeffrey talk about it. But there's really no connection like that made throughout the movie, right? It's a possibility because Dr. Peters works for Jeffrey's dad. And Jeffrey is against what his dad does, right? The guy is nuts, okay? The guy's absolutely nuts. But he's against his dad. He's against the animals being locked up. He's against the animal testing. And when he met Cole in the asylum, it was Cole who was talking about this stuff, right? Jeffrey didn't. He was going on about like the activism and stuff. And then Cole started going on about the virus. And Jeffrey kind of twisted it, right? Because he's all woo. Yeah. But I mean, it would make sense if, Jeffrey was told that in the asylum. And then when he got out, because he keeps saying, once my dad finds out where I am, blah, 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 right? That when he got out and was back under his dad's thumb, that he would talk about this conversation he had with this crazy guy, with this other, other crazy guy in the asylum about, this virus and blah, 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 right? And because Peters is one of these doomsday end of the world people, was like, ah, yes, right? I don't know. It makes sense to me. Anywho, Cole, who has put Catherine in the trunk of her car while he goes off to talk to Jeffrey at his, I'm pretty sure it's at his dad's house. It's like this great big mansion type place, and they're having a dinner and whatever. He lets her out, and then he disappears. Like, he's trudging through the woods and the water and whatever, going on and on about how he wants to stay here and loves the fresh air and blah, 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 blah. And she's like, I'm just going to honk the horn and let the people know, because there's all these flashlights and stuff and dogs and whatever, like people like looking for Cole, right? She's like, oh, I'm just going to honk the horn and let them know we're here. Don't make any sudden moves. And when they say to put your hands up, do that. Like, when she starts honking the horn, when she turns around to look, he's gone. Again. Catherine returns home. She also finds out that there's a boy on the news who had been trapped in a mine shaft. Cole had mentioned earlier that this was like old news for him. The boy was never in the mine shaft. Like, Cole says he thinks it's like a story or a show or something that he'd watched before, but it's because of the whole time travel thing. He's experienced this before. Anyways, he'd mentioned it. The boy was never in the mine shaft. The whole thing was a prank, and the boy was hiding in a barn, which is what Cole had sort of prophesized when we first heard it on the news. He's like, the kid's in the barn. Like, it's fine. The current news is that the boy was hiding in the barn, and Catherine now is beginning to realize that Cole was not insane, but could actually be from the future. She gets a call about the bullet she removed from Cole's leg and finds out that it was like pre-1920s. At this point, she's fully convinced that everything Cole said is true. And she meets Jeffrey's dad and checks to see if his son had access to the virology lab. His dad says that there is no such access. He can't get it. Catherine then finds Cole again. And at this point, both of them assume that Jeffrey is responsible for the virus. Okay. Catherine remembers the phone call that Cole was trying to make in 1990. Though that number was wrong in 1990, she says it'll work now. Like, it's been 6 years. We're in the right year. Let's try again. So they make their way to a payphone. And she comes back happily saying that it was a carpet cleaning company. And, it was just like a voice message thing. There was nobody on the line. She also says that she couldn't help herself. She had to leave a message saying to Cole, the Freedom of Animals Association on 2nd Avenue is the secret headquarters of the Army of the 12 Monkeys. They are the ones who are going to do it. I can't do any more. I have to go now. Have a Merry Christmas. This, as you'll recall, is the same message that was intercepted in 2035, setting the whole thing off, right? This message gave the scientists the lead for the 12 monkeys in Philadelphia. That message was the reason that they knew to look into the 12 monkeys, to know that they needed to be in Philadelphia, to know that it needed to be 1996. Yeah. Meanwhile, Jeffrey kidnaps his dad. His dad tells him that he doesn't have access to the virus anymore. After he'd spoken to Catherine, he had all the security stuff changed, right? And made it so that he wouldn't know any of it. He too thinks his son is responsible for the virus attack. Cole and Catherine decide nothing can be done now, and they decide to leave town. Like, fuck it, we out. Like, we're just gonna get as far away as we can, as quickly as we can. But the cab driver tells them that the 12 monkeys, tells them about the 12 monkeys, that they are actually animal rights activists and have released all the animals from the zoo and have locked Jeffrey's dad in a cage, also at the zoo. That was their plan all along. Nothing to do with the virus at the airport, okay? The 12 Monkeys was an animal rights organization, nothing more. Cole begins to recollect his dream. He calls the carpet cleaning company's number and says, quote, maybe you just clean carpets. If you do, you're lucky. You're going to live a long, happy life. But if you other guys are out there, if you're picking this up, forget about the Army of the 12 Monkeys. They did not do it. It is a mistake. Someone else did it. The Army of the 12 Monkeys is just a bunch of dumb kids playing revolutionaries. Listen, I've done my job. I did what you wanted. Good luck. I'm not coming back. Right after this, Catherine is standing in line behind a traveler who is going to San Francisco, New Orleans, Rio, Rome, Kinshasa, the other one I can't pronounce, Bangkok, and Peking? I don't know. That place. All the places that I said before. That is the same list and order as the location that the virus originated and followed. Okay. Catherine identifies Dr. Peters. The other time traveler, Jose, shows up in front of Cole. Jose says that the phone call Cole makes got intercepted. They got the message, and Jose gives Cole a gun and tells him that if he refuses to take the gun, he will have to kill Catherine. Cole reluctantly takes the gun and asks who he needs to kill. Jose doesn't reply. And Catherine identifies Peter through a photo that she sees in a newspaper. There's a picture of Jeffrey's dad and Peters in the lab doing lab things. Okay, so there's this loop that kind of keeps happening, right? Involving the dream that Cole keeps having at the of a man getting shot, and then a blonde woman crying over him, right? So the future already knows that the incident happened at the airport with a guy getting shot, right? It's Cole has been sent a message saying he is not coming back, right? He's told them he's done, right? He wants to stay in 1996. The scientists in the future don't want Cole staying over and messing up things back in the past, right? So they send Jose with a gun, probably knowing that Cole was shot dead at the airport in 1996. Okay, they would have known, like, from old news articles and stuff. And that's probably why he was chosen to go back and do all this. All they needed to do was hand him the gun, and history would take care of the rest. Catherine shows up and tells Cole about this traveler whose identity is Dr. Peters, a scientist in Jeffrey's father's laboratory. Jose is there when she comes, and this is enough information that the future needs to know. Jose leaves the scene. Okay, he gets pulled back to 2035. He has the information on who the reason for the virus is, right? Who started everything. The scientists from the future go to part B of their plan, sending the scientists back to the past to study the virus in its original form, right? Cole and Catherine go looking for Peters. Cole runs after Peters with his gun through the airport, and the authorities, who are looking for him and Catherine, end up shooting him because he goes running through the metal detector, and of course it goes off, and they see him and they know he's nuts, they know he's armed, so they just shoot him. Catherine, with the blonde wig, because the woman we've been seeing, I don't know if I mentioned that, the woman that he's been seeing in his dream all the time is blonde. So Catherine, in a blonde wig, is now sitting over him crying. A young Cole is watching on. Catherine sees him. And what has happened will continue to happen. It's the pedestrian paradox. That explains the loop, that because we see this throughout the entire movie, right? We keep seeing the scene playing out, playing out, playing out. Now we know why. And that's how the movie ends. Yeah. It's a very interesting concept. It is a lot. It's a bit of a fever dream. I hope that made sense. I was racking my brain on how to break this down, and in parts is like the best way that I could compartmentalize. I don't know. I hope it makes sense. I do highly recommend watching it. It is a very interesting watch. It's an interesting concept. I think 95, it was, I think it was a little ahead of its time, in my opinion. It's definitely not the first, Back to the Future type movie. It's not the first time traveling thing by any stretch, but the story that it told was very interesting, and I thought the characters were very interesting. Brad Pitt, like I said, is just masterful in this, in my opinion. I was actually looking around for some sort of after stuff on this, and I found a YouTube video. If I can find it again, I'll link it. I never thought to save it, but if I can find it again, I'll link it. That was talking about, like, I don't know, weird things that happened during the course of making the movie. And one of them was that Brad Pitt apparently sort of committed himself to hospital so that he could live amongst the crazy people and sort of learn some like little, like all his like, I mean, he speaks wicked fast, and his eyes are just all over the place all of the time, and he's just so sketchy and just, it's crazy. He does so good. Yeah, if I can find the video again, I will link it. But oh my goodness, yeah, it is definitely worth a watch, and you will definitely have to watch it more than once. I may have to watch it again. I do get it more now than I did. I mean, when I first watched this, I mean, 95, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I didn't follow it very well. I didn't understand it, but that's fine. I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was really good. But anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I will link in the description where you can go watch it, which I highly recommend you do. I know that I spoiled absolutely everything, but yeah, I mean, yeah, too bad. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. I enjoyed doing it. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you in the next one.